Harry. I'm Disney.
I'm Johnny.
Yeah, and in this presentation we'll be talking about challenges and opportunities to certain areas of employment and gaining skills, and we'll also be talking about challenges and opportunities that relate to the state of the job market.
So firstly, I'll be answering the question, what challenges and opportunities apply to what areas of employment? And I've looked at a number of sectors. I'll start off with banking and financial services. And first thing with that is there's quite a lot of, there's a vast amount of competition within the whole sector, and there's not much difference between each of the competitors. So they have to be very creative with how they market and marketing techniques and what they offer to take potential customers away from their competitors. Furthermore, the recent recession and economic downturn affected many banks in a negative way, and so the banks and everyone else in the sector have been trying to combat these negative impacts. So, for example, the banks in particular have reduced the amount of people that they employ, particularly graduates, and made quite a few people redundant, which is never good for those people. And opportunities in that sector is that there are new sectors sort of within the sector, so like subsectors, such as financial planning, which is currently thriving, and the roles involved with this sector hold a healthy annual salary that attracts quite a lot of graduates. And also there's insurance agencies, which are also an opportunity because people are looking to switch from the banking system to an insurance one, which is a non-financial service. And now for the health, education and public government sector, this is sort of a lot of pressure to fill jobs from the higher authorities, and they only want the best people in there. So if you've got something like the employability passport on your, or as an add-on sort of thing to your degree, it will go in your favour. Challenges of this sector is that obviously to get these extra perks and stuff, you have to pay quite a lot of money, and so to attain a degree, you obviously have to pay tuition fees. So stuff like the recent rise in tuition fees, like up to £9,000 a year max, which has affected that. So that's quite a big challenge. And opportunities for this sector is that these positions will always be available. So redundancy is quite unlikely. And furthermore, there will be an opportunity to travel within this. So, for example, if you're doing international business with a language, you could go travel with your company and maybe pick up or improve your language that you've learned at university, or maybe even learn a new one, embrace the culture and stuff like that. Next up is hospitality, tourism and leisure. And challenges in this sector could be a language barrier, because you'll be interacting with many different people who may not speak your native language, and therefore communication would be quite vital in this role. And as I've already said, degrees that include the language would be very beneficial, and in this case that applies too. Another challenge would be security issues. A good example of this would be the 2012 Olympics, when there was a high alert on for terrorist threats. So the policing was stepped up a lot more than planned. So, for example, there was quite a lot of people working or guiding tourists around London to get them to Stratford and the Olympic Park and stuff. So that would be a danger to the job. And also there's political unrest. So if you were on business in a troubled nation, earlier this year there was the Algeria case where there was workers there who, I think they were somewhat French nationals, there was a few UK ones there as well, and they got caught up in some gunfire and quite a few people died there. So that's another challenge in that sector. Opportunities would be the travelling and exploring new cultures. That can be a very attractive additional role to any graduate, and with the employability passport, like I already said, it would be more likely to get that role over someone who didn't. And contrary to the challenge of the language barrier. It could lead to learning new languages and for future jobs that would look very good on the CV if you see that role as sort of a stepping stone to something else later on in your career. Now the transport and distribution sector, there's potential for a lot of customers. Like for example, after 9/11, quite a lot of people would have stopped using sort of aeroplanes or whatever, and the London Underground bombings probably deterred quite a few people from using the tubes. And furthermore, another challenge would be the massive increase in fuel prices, which has sort of rocketed in the past decade. Really shows no sign of slowing down. So for people such as like transport and distribution, if you had like some sort of business or maybe even a taxi driver or something, petrol's gone sky high, so that's a challenge for them. And opportunities in this sector would be, for example, if you started a courier company or something, for example, you could have two opportunities whereby you could link which are linked to like new markets and industries. Because you have easier promotion, for example, you could have like stickers on your van and stuff, so the amount of people that see your car when you're driving on the back of your car with your details and stuff like that. And maybe from old jobs you could have previous relationships with a company, and you can sort of keep contacts that way and get business that way. Construction and building, the market. The challenges for this, the competition is very fierce. With less houses being built, there's a fight between construction companies for the contracts to build all these flats and stuff that keep going up. And the market itself, the construction and building market, is only expected to recover fully by 2020, and it's only 2013 now, so that's still a lengthy wait until the market is back to the level that it was before the recession in the previous years. The opportunities for that market is that it's one of the UK's biggest exports, and it employs approximately 3 million people. And there's also 8 new nuclear power plants in England and Wales that will require at least 25,000 employees. And with 25,000 employees, that's quite a lot, and they'll be looking for plenty of jobs in the industry, and therefore plenty of applicants for those jobs. So that's with the employability passport. Makes yourself stand up from the crowd with something added on, like to your degree or to whatever other qualification you have. And I think finally from me, just a graph on this is a table, and it shows an analysis of graduate vacancies in the previous year, 2012, by industry or business sector in the UK. And there are 14 sectors listed, and of those 14, only 6 had a positive change in recruitment from the previous years to that, so 2011, and the rest had to cut graduate vacancies. And as you can see from the bottom line, the bottom is sort of all sectors, and there was 129 graduate jobs lost from 2011 to 2012, and it was only a small percentage, but if you can see from the column, there's quite there's quite a massive loss, like 15% and 12 and 13%. I'll hand you over to Tasneem.
So, having seen this, the recession has hit. What can we do to get into the job sector? Well, I can see a few heads popping up now. Well, what is a skill, first of all? A skill is an ability that is acquired intentionally and methodically in order to perform complex tasks smoothly. It can be anything from technical skills, interpersonal skills, and cognitive skills. An example of a skill is our football skill, as you can see there. Yeah, the football skill, and then that's the computing skill there. That. And of course, there's a nursing skill. Next time, please. Well, opportunities of obtaining skills. You can do an apprenticeship program, which is a student whereas a student learns the skill required for a specific job or trade. Students learn in the classroom as well on the job and get paid as well sometimes. The next type of opportunity of learning is learning online. This is a more popular option among students. This allows them to go to school whilst learning the new skill online. Adult basic learning. Adult basic learning of free classes are provided to people over 16 to increase their basic skills such as reading, maths, listening and speaking. University colleges and special classes. Attending special classes will boost a person's skill pool greatly, as it will be able to develop and enhance any skill desired in any discipline. The challenges of obtaining skills. First of all, the skills vary. I don't know if you've noticed, two different companies doing the same thing will prefer some skills more, will prefer different skills from the employees. And that's just not companies. If you look at it on a nationwide or global, in a global sense, you can see that a company in Japan will value some skills more than some others. The next thing is lessons are expensive to obtain. Yeah, they are pretty expensive. The cost, I don't know the cost, don't quote me, because the different schools charge different prices, but it will be between, I don't know, 100 and 1,000. I'm paying for basically to obtain skill. Usually it's done by the employers to send their workers to obtain these skills. And then apprenticeship, there's some drawbacks. There's some drawback to apprenticeships. For example, it's very fierce competition. It's like applying for a job. There's loads of people applying for one apprenticeship and maybe even, and it's really hard to obtain it, and it's often time, and next thing is time consuming and like easy to lose interest. It's just why sometimes people just lose interest and drop out of trying to learn a new skill, and there's no guarantee of you learning a new skill as well. And this is a graph showing that, as you can see here, there's 2009 we hit the recession, and here it's going up quite a bit. Gaining new skill will help you get into the job market, as well as putting yourself out in the job market.
Well, the state of the current job market is very desperate, and in April this year there was, for example, there was 4,300 people who went for 150 jobs at a new supermarket, and also in the picture you can see that was 4,000 people queuing up for a jobs fair in Hampshire, and that was only this year as well. So that's one of the main challenges with the current job market. Also, as Johnny showed in the other graph, there's a decrease in job vacancies over most sectors, and because of the economic downturn, it's still, in the short term, it's unlikely to have any significant change at the moment. On the other hand, opportunities is like globalisation, because there's it increases the job market, although it could be a challenge as well, as for example immigration might make it even more competitive. In some sectors, there's more vacancies for graduates. And another opportunity is that the workforce becomes more specialised, as people have to pick up better skills to get the job and find a kind of niche for themselves, so that employers will take them. Effect of the crisis. The effect of crisis is increasing employability of more skilled and qualified people. The other way around, people with less qualifications and experience are finding it hard. However, because the economic climate's hard, employers are looking maybe for the cheapest option. Maybe the small businesses can't afford to take graduates on with experience and better skills. The effect of the crisis has meant that the job market is very hard, so more people might choose to go into education. Again, increasing the competition for graduates. Yeah, and looking at the difference over sectors and countries, I mean, different sectors have different targets, like different recruitment programs, and different countries have different needs. So maybe a developing country doesn't need people with a certain type of skill, they need people with maybe less skill, or different, maybe like more manufacturing-based kind of skill. And I guess strategies for graduates could be work experience. When asked the highest graduate employers, they said 47% were not likely to get a job offer if they had no previous experience. Also, 78% of jobs in investment banking were given to people who already had worked for the company already in work experience. And the last one is to make yourself stand out by doing extracurricular stuff, volunteering, and like stuff such as like the Greenwich Mobility Passport, just to make your CV stand out. Is that the same one we had before? Yeah. Okay, cool. Next one. Yeah, we looked at the unemployment rate in Britain, and we also looked in the US as well, and they kind of have similar spikes. We chose America because we see it as probably one of the crisis had probably the biggest effect on America.
So, as you can see, and they've told you that there's like loads of obstacles that prevent students or even like unemployed people from actually getting a job. The amount of competition for like one job is quite high. The recession did a really big part in it as well, and as Johnny said, Taz said that obtaining skills can be expensive for university and stuff. So because of this, Greenwich has encouraged students to try and achieve some of the goals they set for the Greenwich employability passports. Some of these are like to obtain work experience, to gain skills via like through extracurricular activities, and they encourage students to engage in extracurricular activities that can actually help you in future jobs. And that's it.
Thank you.